What's going on, man? It's your boy, Jay Holley, and we are back for another episode 33 of Unfiltered with Jesse Holley. Thank you. You are far too kind. You could have been anywhere in the world, but I am so glad you are here with me. I am Jesse Holley, the sports talk equivalent of Braille. People feel me when I speak. You guys know what you got to do, man. Hit that like, subscribe button, tell a friend to tell a friend. Notifications so that you never, ever miss an episode of Unfiltered with Jesse Holley. Spread that thing around, Apple, Spotify. Leave comments, leave the 5-star. You know how we got to get down, man. But you know how I like to get down. I like to give my positivity in the beginning because let's be honest, most of you are not going to be here at the end. And that's okay. But I challenge you to give me 3 listens. Pick any episode you want. We got 33 of them out there. 15 minutes apiece. If at the end of these 3 episodes, these 15 minutes, you don't like Unfiltered with Jesse Holley, find 3 more. And then find 3 more after that. But eventually you will learn to love me. Love me like I love you. But like I said, I like to give my positivity at the beginning. And here's what I got for you guys today. It's a simple quote that I think has profound meaning to it. And it simply says, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Comfortability is cool. It's easy. It's nice. It's secure. It's the mundane job. It's the blah relationship. It's the point A to point B. It gets you there, but there's no living in it. There's no passion in it. There's no fulfillment in it. Your life begins at the end of your comfort zone. If you're looking for extraordinary things to take place in your life, you have to, the proverbial slang tone is, get off the porch. You have to be willing to step outside of what you are comfortable with. You have to be able to step outside those things that you find secure. Sometimes you got to live a little dangerous. And I don't mean life and death dangerous, but I'm saying that you got to go and challenge yourself. You got to go and step off the porch, make that leap, take that jump in those areas where you really say, you know what, this has always been a thought of mine or a passion of mine, but I've never had enough courage just to go out there and do it. Well, as long as you're sitting in that comfortable space, that mundane place, that place of security, then you're never going to be able to realize just how amazing you are. Because on the other side of mundane, the amazing side of you takes a little bit of stretching, takes a little bit of jumping, takes a little bit of living on the edge. But that requires for you to get out of your comfort zone. That requires you to expand yourself just a little bit more. That requires you to go places that you've never been. My coach used to say, if you want something that you've never had, you have to be willing to do something you've never done. That was literally my calling. That was literally like the verse that I took with me when I was going on 4th and long. I was at a place where I needed something to shake for me. And I had no idea. I walked into that 4th and long as blind as Ray Charles, not knowing what was on the other side. But it was in order for me to have something I never had, I had to be willing to go and do something I'd never done. And be comfortable in that. Being comfortable in the uncomfortableness of the unknown. But knowing that I was called, and I am called, and you're called to do something greater than what you're probably doing right now. And some of you may be saying, you know what, he ain't talking to me right now. And I'm not. I'm talking to those that are living in that comfort zone, wanting to explore and have things in their life that feel a little bit uncomfortable. You got to be willing to go chase that. Your life truly begins at the end of your comfort zone. All right, man, let's get into this Cowboys Giants preview. And this show is called Unfiltered with Jesse Holley. And I got to be completely honest with you. And I don't do this often, but the Giants are bums. And this is not, please don't take offense to this if you're a Giants fan. But if you're an honest Giants fan, all of you out there, my boy A Solo, Alex, I know that you're a big Giants fan. There's a lot of y'all out there, the Giants fan. If you're being honest with yourself, and if you're looking at the man or the woman in the mirror who are Giants fans, you're seeing exactly what I'm seeing. You're seeing this team that is trash. They're down to their backup to the backup. Tommy DeVito will be their starting quarterback this week. Tommy DeVito doesn't even have a locker. Tommy DeVito was a practice squad dude too. No. This is honest to God truth. He doesn't have a regular locker. His locker is in the middle of the locker room. It's a stationary locker that they give to the practice squad guys. He don't even have a real locker. Like this is how far they have come. And we can go back and we can revisit what the game was at the beginning of the year. And think about that for just a second. To open up the season, at that juncture of the year, everyone has hopes, aspirations. For the most part, your team is entirely healthy. All the goals and ambitions and thoughts of the future Super Bowl, playoffs, division, all of your goals were out in front of you. You were looking at those goals and you were saying, you know what? Yeah, we're in the team meeting. We can get to the Super Bowl. And you're looking around the locker room and you're saying, you know what? Man, we got a good tight end. Our running back got his deal done. Our quarterback is coming into the second year. Our coach is defending reigning head coach of the year last year. And we got our guys on defense and Kayvon Thibodeau and Dexter Lawrence and we have all these guys and everything in front of you looks bright and it looks like it's accomplishable. And then you get your head beat in 40-0. And maybe you can say, you know what? Okay, cool. That is what it is. And there's still a long season to go. And then the season begins. And your offensive line couldn't block blocking dummies. You remember the Giants offensive line and Evan Neal. Remember he got booed? Y'all remember that. He got booed. And then he came into the media and said, yeah, those people are probably flipping burgers. And then the media jumped on his back. And they were saying, when you see Evan Neal in the mall, boo him. When you see Evan Neal at a restaurant, boo him. If you see him at an amusement park, boo him. If he just so happens to make it to the Pro Bowl and you see him at the Pro Bowl, boo him. I mean, they wanted to boo their starting right tackle. And then you watch on games. I watched the game for the Cowboys, and I felt bad for Daniel Jones. Coach just left him in there. I mean, he left him in there, and they just teed off on him. And I thought maybe it was a one-off. And then you watch more games throughout the season with the Giants, and Coach just let this kid get teed off on to the point where it sent him to IR with the neck injury. Up comes Tyrod Taylor. He wins the game, but then guess what? He goes out with an injury. And then you have Daniel Jones come back only to be running for his life, tears ACL. He's done for the season. And to be honest with you, this is one of those deals where it starts at the top. This is on Brian Daboll, right? You had an opportunity to come in here. You took a team last year that didn't deserve to go to the playoffs. Congratulations, kudos to you. Then you come back, same team, you added some new pieces, and it just is not working. The Giants have now realized we have invested money into Daniel Jones that's fool's gold, and they're going to probably have to eat that bread and look into the draft and see whether it's the kid from Washington, Penix Jr., or Caleb Williams, or Drake May, or however this may fold out, because they'll have a top 10 pick. At this rate, it'll be the Cardinals, it'll be the Giants, Chicago, but Chicago doesn't want a quarterback, maybe. They're going to be in that conversation of teams that are looking to pick in the top 10. And maybe one of those three quarterbacks will fall to them and they can start anew because Daniel Jones ain't it. Jalen Hyde, the kid that they got from Tennessee who was supposed to be a speedster, haven't seen it. And this is the point in time of the season, and I'll get more into the breakdown. It's not much to get into the breakdown, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, it's not much to get into. But now they're starting to have some internal battles, the New York Football Giants are. Because after the game last week where they lost to they didn't lose. They got blown out. 30-6, they lost to the Oakland Raiders with an interim head coach, with a team who has been going through their in-house turmoil in the Oakland Raiders. They lose to the Oakland Raiders, and now you have this is when you can start seeing the chinks in the armors for teams that are falling apart. We're now in week 9 of the season. We're at the proverbial halfway point of the season, and it sucks for certain teams because you can look ahead and go, well, right now we're fourth in the division, or third or fourth in the division. So playoff hopes for us is, if not gone, fleeting very fast. So we're not going to the playoffs. And then you have to keep trying to find will to get up every single day and go to practice and go to meetings and take this thing serious. And I'll tell you in a second where a lot of these players are at mentally at this point in time of the season, when you know that your season is just about over and you're not going to make any type of postseason run. You're not going to make any noise. You're not going to challenge anybody in the division, anybody in your conference. When this season ends, so when like the last game, that's it for you. That is absolutely it for you. But earlier this week, defensive coordinator Wink Martindale said he felt hurt and surprised by safety Xavier McKinney's comments after they lost 30-6 to the Raiders. McKinney said after the game that the team's leaders were not being heard. The fourth-year safety is one of the defensive captains. The Giants have 10 captains in total. He is one of them. He said that they weren't listening to me. And Wink Martindale replied, he says, yeah, it surprised me because it's the first time I've ever happened to me in my career. Now, Wink Martindale's been coaching the National Football League for 36 years. And he said, this is the first time as a coach in 36 years that I've ever had a player say about me that I, Wink Martindale, your defensive coordinator that's been coaching for 36 years in the national, in coaching in general, has never had a player say that he didn't listen to him or his leadership or the council, at least take their thoughts into consideration. He said they made a statement. He said, I think it was a case of the kid just frustrated from losing. We spoke, we cleared it up. The example that he gave of what he was talking about was an in-game adjustment. It really took a while for him to get to the point out exactly what it was. But I think you grow from that. And I just told him that something that hurts the locker room, it hurts the defensive room when you say something like that. Coach Daboll followed up and said that McKinney would be in his usual role on Sunday, starting Sunday against the Cowboys, and they wouldn't be any on-field discipline for expressing his opinion. So now you have players saying, they ain't even listening to us. And coaches saying, I ain't never had that happen to me in my career. So you can see the chinks in the armor begin to break from the inside out. This team is done. This team is done. This team is a team who had -9 passing yards against the New York Jets. Yeah, I said that. Yep. This is a team who Saquon Barkley is their end-all, be-all on offense, and he averages like 80-something yards rushing. He's going to have to carry the ball 1,000 times. And Tommy DeVito, rookie quarterback, he played at Illinois and he played at Syracuse. He has some athleticism in the way that he can kind of move around, but this kid is going to be in for his life. He's going to be in for a fight for his life. And it's all bad for the New York Football Giants. Yeah, I know they got some decent guys up front defensively. But overall, this football team is toast. It is toast. And the only way, because think about it, 40-0, and you had everything in front of you at the beginning of the season. And now at this juncture of the year, guys are just making business decisions. Guys is just like, hey, I'm, in the words of the great philosopher Marshawn Lynch, I'm just here so I don't get fined. A lot of these guys just showing up for the check. This season is over. This team is toast. And if there's one thing, this small little minute thing that scares me for the Cowboys, and I tell you, it's mustard seed small. And I'm going to give you the thought process behind the scenes of how it goes. Because I've been on both sides of the ledger. I've been on the team that was really good playing a bad team, and I've been on the ledger when we were a really bad team and we were playing the good team. And what happens is this. As a player, every week you come into the building, on Mondays, you are given the game plan. Not in a notebook, but you're given a game plan. And I had playbooks, they have iPads now. In the iPad, we used to get CDs. What they have is each coach on the side of the ball, right, offensively or defensively, let's say offensively because I played offense. It would go, okay, tight end coach, you have all the 1st and 10 cut-ups of the opposing team's defense. Wide receiver coach, you have all the 2nd down cut-ups. And so on and so forth, 3rd down, goal, goal, red zone, goal line, and all that kind of stuff. And so you get these cut-ups, and in these cut-ups, they have about 10 to 15 plays in these cut-ups, and you watch them, and it's kind of like, hey, here's what they like to do on these downs defensively. Look for this coverage, look for these blitzes, look for this type of stuff, and you watch them over and over and over again throughout the week. You watch them in the offense-defense meeting, you watch them in the position meetings, you go out and practice them, and then you go back home and watch them on film. Now, when you're playing the Eagles and you're playing, or the Niners, or you're playing in a couple of weeks when you're playing a team that really, 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 really matters, you dive into that. You're like, man, I have to find all the minute details in this. But what happens is when you're playing the Booty Juice Giants and you're looking at them and you're going, this team is so bad. This team is so trash. This team is so boo-boo. You tend not to want to watch the film. Now, all of a sudden, the ADD in people begins to heighten. Because you look at this team and you go, there's nothing that they can do to stop us. So before, I would have put hours into watching film and really breaking it down. My notes would be detailed. I'm trying to play Fortnite. I'm trying to play Call of Duty. I'm calling over Shorty. Normally I say, nah, Shorty, tonight I'm studying. I'm calling Shorty. Hey, come through. I might go out to watch a movie. I might go do something like that. I might Netflix and chill. I might do something, but I ain't watching this film. This film is so boring. It's so corny. We already beat them 40-0. What they gonna do to us now? And then you get into this game, and I call it you pad stat, right? You pad stat, and this happens on both sides. Because I'm gonna tell you what the Giants players are doing. For the Cowboys, they're like, yo, I can go and get me 2-3 sacks. I can go get me a pick. I can go get me, I'm trying to take this thing to the house. I'm punt return, kick return. I'm trying to take this. Everybody's now trying to pad their stats against the New York Football Giants. And that's the one thing that worries me a little bit is players begin to look at this game. It's a get-right game. You can get your rhythm going. Tony Pollard in the running game should get their rhythm going. You want to see CeeDee Lamb. Can he do something 3 weeks in a row to another career high? Can he go get career high in touchdowns? He already had career high in receptions. He already had career high in yards. Can he go get career high in touchdowns? Can Tony Pollard get back on track with 100 yards rushing? Can Dak continue his incredible quarterback play with another 350-plus yard game? All these things we call games like this against the New York Giants. We call them the pharmacy games. When you're sick and you got an ailment, you go see the doctor. What do? He writes you a script. Take it on down to the CVS or to the Rite Aid or to the Walgreens, and you get your medicine. You feel better. The Giants are feel better. They feel better. That's what this team is. It's feel better. They have become the medicine for the Cowboys. Whatever your ailments are, you play the Giants and all of a sudden you get right. They're the prescription the doctor ordered. And on the flip side for the New York Giants, and I've been in their spots. I've been in locker rooms where I'm hearing guys begin to call their people up and tell them, yo, After Thanksgiving, I'm shipping the cars to Florida. Hey, have so-and-so come and pack the house up. Hey, babe, start looking at transferring the kids into the second half of the year school. Because they go to school in the town that we play in for that first half of the year. But after that, in January and February, we go back to our house in Georgia, house in Florida, house in Texas, house in California, and the kids going to finish the rest of the school year over there. This is what's happening. The Giants players now are making the ultimate business decisions on the field. Because the last thing that you want as a Giants player, as this season gets nearer and nearer and nearer to the end, is you don't want to get hurt. And it's not that you don't want to get hurt for hurting sakes. No. You don't want to get hurt because if I get hurt and it's a serious injury and I have to go on IR towards the end of the year, or we're 2 games from the season being over and I tear my ACL or I break a bone, guess what? I got to stay here in rehab. I got to stay in New York, New Jersey in rehab. I got to be around the team facility as I rehab. I can't go live in California or Florida or Texas and be in my off-season home. I got to stay here. So guys will start to say, hey, I ain't going in there. I ain't jumping on that pot. I'm not sticking my head in there. No, sir. I'm not doing that. I'm making a business decision. And also for the Giants, you know what they're also saying? Guys start looking at their contracts and they're saying they're calling their agents and they go, what are my escalators? What are my bonuses? Well, it says if you make the play, well, we ain't making the playoffs. So what's the other bonuses that I got in my contract? Well, if you get, right now you're at 2 interceptions. If you get to 5 interceptions, you get a $250,000 bonus. Or, hey, your contract says right now, if you had 4 sacks, but if you get 8 sacks in the year, that you get a $400,000 bonus. You know what? If you play this many snaps in your contract, you get a $100,000 bonus. If you get this many receptions, this many touchdowns, or whatever, this many yards, you get these bonuses. So now guys are out there for self. Now I'm jumping routes. I'm trying to get picks. I'm trying to get sacks. I'm trying to pad my stats now so that at the end of the year in this losing season, at least I can win on the side of money. This is what some of the Giants players are thinking. I guarantee you. They're taking another gloss over their contract and looking at that escalator box. What flips the switch on my escalators? What flips the script on my bonuses? Because we ain't going to the playoffs, so I know I ain't getting that bonus. But what can I work through right now and get that bonus? Okay. I need 3 more interceptions. Bet. I don't care if I give up 300 yards. I don't care if they score 14 times on me. I'm going to jump these routes and see if I can't get me an interception for the next couple weeks. What's coach going to do? Bench me? Okay. If we trash and I'm the starter, we probably going to be even more trash when the guy behind me still plays. Eventually, I'll be back out there again, and I'll be gunning for my escalators. That is the reality of it. The reality of it all. This is a game for the Cowboys that they need and must win. It should be over at like halftime. We should be kicking our feet up by the end of the third quarter, and we honestly should see backups in the fourth quarter. I'm just gonna be honest with you. We should see our backups in. The Cowboys should have their backups in the fourth quarter because it doesn't make any sense to let this football team hang around longer than they have to be. All right, man. That's really all I got for this, man. Like I don't have. I promise you. I wish I had more for you. I really do wish I had more for you. This team is just not good right now. We'll have some more. We got some boo-boo games coming up, but then we get into a stretch where we got Seattle and Miami and Buffalo. We'll get into those games. Those games actually matter. But playing the Giants and the Panthers, these teams shouldn't be on the same field as you if you are talking about that you are a serious Super Bowl contending team. So these are the games that you have to go ahead and get these guys, blow them out and get out of it and get rid of them. But we'll see what happens. All right, man, let's go around the NFL and let me give you my picks for this weekend. Pull this thing up right here. All right, man, here we go. Colts, Patriots. Another boo-boo game. That one's in Frankfurt, but it's an 8:30 game. I like that because it gives me football early in the morning. Even though this is a boo-boo game, it gives me football early in the morning. Give me the Colts over the Patriots in Frankfurt. Bengals, Texans. I am a CJ Stroud fan, ladies and gentlemen. I am a CJ. He had a great quote. CJ Stroud is becoming one of my favorite football players. I like this kid. He is getting ready to break the generational curse of Ohio State with bad quarterbacks in the National Football League. But CJ Stroud had a comment the other day, and he said basketball players want to be football players want to be basketball players, and we all wish we could play baseball. And I'm with him. Young boy, I'm with you. I was one of the fortunate ones to be able to do both at one point in time in my career at the University of North Carolina, go Heels, play football and basketball, won a national championship. I sure did. But he's right. You look at the offseason, all these guys want to play basketball. They all think they're the next LeBron or they could do this. And then the basketball guys the same way. You see guys, they're playing football on the court. Everyone think they can Odell, or they can do a sack, or they all-time quarterback. It always happens. And the reason we all want to play baseball, we all want baseball money. Very few can, honestly, like baseball. I think hockey is the hardest sport to play, to go that fast on those thin blades and chase a small little puck around with a stick. My back hurt thinking about it. But baseball, to me, comes next. To be able to catch that little ball coming at you 100 miles an hour with a stick, that's tough. But CJ's right. Everybody wants, and then, all in want to be rappers. And rappers want to be athletes. We all want to have this commingling thing, but I am a huge fan of CJ Stroud, who is setting the world on fire. Broke a rookie record with his passing performance last weekend. I don't think he wins this game. I think the Bengals take them out. It's a home game for the Bengals, but I like this kid. 14 touchdowns to 1 interception. That's un-rookie-like. That's seasoned vetish. To go 14 to 1 touchdown to interception ratio, that's pretty impressive at almost 2,300 yards midway through this season. He has this football team, the Texans, at 4-4. Midway through. Most people thought the Texans wouldn't win 4 games all year. They're 4-4 right now. I think they fall to the Bengals. But I like CJ Stroud, man. I like this kid. I'm gonna dig and dive more into this player and watch him more and make it my business to put him on one of the TVs at the crib and keep an eye on him when I can, because I like this kid. Saints versus Vikings. Shout out to Josh Dobbs, who came in last week. Doesn't even know all the teammates that he has on the team. Don't even know all their names. Didn't know all the plays in the playbook. Didn't think he was going to play. First quarter, the starting quarterback goes down. Here comes Josh Dobbs. He goes and takes his team on a game-winning drive, beat the Atlanta Falcons in a week where he just got there. They take on the Saints at home. Josh Dobbs, I believe, will be the starter this week. So we'll see how that goes. He said in the interview this week that he vows to learn everyone's name by the end of the week. Good luck. Good luck with that. I like the Josh Dobbs story this year. He's a kid who's a consummate professional. No matter where he goes, you see him be able to perform. He gave credit to Mike Tomlin and Ben Roethlisberger. He said, those guys kept me ready when I first came into the league. He said, sometimes Ben will go down and you'll have to get ready. And the next thing you know, you look up and Ben's back in there. He said, so I was always taught to kind of be ready, how to be a professional. So we gave a lot of credit to Mike Tomlin, who I think is one of the most fantastic coaches and leaders in the National Football League. I'm going to take Saints over Vikings this Sunday. Green Bay, Pittsburgh, 12 noon in Pittsburgh. Give me the Steelers over Green Bay. Jordan Love is just not it. It's tough when you go from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love, but shout out to Jordan Love. Just not it. The Titans and the Buccaneers. Will Levis will get his second start. It's a little something behind the scenes that I'll talk about another day when it comes to that. His third start. This is his third start. Oh, Will Levis will get his third start. I've sorry, OU fans, but I've never been a Baker Mayfield fan. Just hadn't. Don't like him. Don't like him. He has a punchable face. I don't condone violence. I just understand violence. And Baker Mayfield has a punchable face that I've never been able to wrap my mind around. Like, just liking him, enjoying his game is give me the Titans. Give me the Titans. This is gonna be a good big game right here. Niners at Jaguars. Niners coming off the bye. They've lost since they beat the Cowboys. They've lost 3 games in a row. Their tackle was out. Big Trent Williams, Debo Samuel was out. I think both of those guys will play. This is going to be a big game. Jacksonville's a sneaky contender in the AFC. Good football team. I think the Niners get back on the winning track. I think having that week off, some guys healed up. They got a chance to kind of refocus. I think Kyle Shanahan will get his troops ready to go down there and win that football game in Duval. Browns, Ravens. Lamar Jackson, to me, is the league's leader in the MVP race right now. That's just to me. You don't have to believe that. That may not be your belief. I'm not saying that you have to believe what I believe. That's what I believe right now. Give me the Ravens over the Browns in Baltimore, M&T Bank Stadium. Falcons, Cardinals. The Cardinals are bad. Falcons will take that one. Lions, Chargers. The Chargers, let me say this about the Chargers. We have to continue to say that Brandon Staley and Kellen Moore are bad coaches. And that we're getting ready to, in a minute, we're going to have to say for Justin Herbert that he has had all the talent in the world and has been a bust when it comes to living up to that talent. He is all world when it comes to just the sheer talent. If you just took the talent, I ain't talking about the talent, the ability to run, to throw, all of that. There's no way that this team should be as putrid as it is, as mundane and as middle of the road and lower than it is. You thought going to get, like, Brandon Staley was already bad for Justin Herbert. Then you go and you add Kellen Moore. You double down on being bad for a player. And now both of you are probably going to lose your job in that situation. And this kid who has all world talent, don't tell me about him being elite no more. He ain't elite. He ain't elite. He has talent that could make him elite. He ain't close to being elite. Ain't close. Elite talent takes that talent and wins games. He ain't doing it. Give me the fighting Dan Campbell, the MCDCs, the Motor City Dan Campbells, the Detroit Lions. Head to Inglewood and take out the Chargers, the Commanders, and Seahawks. I'm going for my boy Sam Howell. Go Heels. Go Heels. Give me the Commanders on the road over the Seahawks, Jets, Raiders. Raider Nation. You got rid of that bum and Josh McDaniels. And, you know, it's funny because now all the stories are coming out about Josh McDaniels, just about how bad he was. And I even appreciate the GM. He's trying to say, like, you know what? I didn't want Jimmy Garoppolo to begin with. That was Josh McDaniels. I didn't want to sign Jimmy Garoppolo. He wanted to sign Jimmy Garoppolo. I didn't want to go with Jimmy Garoppolo. He wanted to give Jimmy Garoppolo that deal. They gave Jimmy Garoppolo that deal, and they benched him. The locker room has not looked as happy. You hear clips from Josh Jacobs. You hear clips from Devontae Adams at the basketball game. He is happy as a pig in crap and mud. They got rid of the cancer. Antonio Pierce came out in one of his pressers this week, and he talked about, you know, I put the practice squad guys back on the field, which is unheard of. The practice squad guys, they work hard for you all week, give you great looks, and you tell them that they can't be on the sideline during the game. This is the leader that Josh McDaniels, y'all was trying to pitch to people. This is a person that doesn't care about people, who is a horrible leader. And more you're starting to see more stories come out about how bad Josh McDaniels is. And people say, oh, he's not a people person. How can you not be a people person in a business where all you work with are people? If you're not a people person, then Go clean. Go get on the skyscraper and clean windows. They make a good living. If you don't, your job is to take 53 plus men and mold them into a team, and you have the audacity to walk around as if you are a people person. I don't get it. Dude is bad. And you made a good decision. Go cost you. But you finally righted your wrong. Give me the Raiders over the Jets in Vegas. Antonio Pierce moves to 2-0 as an interim head coach. And then the game of the Sunday, I don't know if it's the game of the Sunday, but Cowboys Giants 100-0. Like, they shouldn't score a point. This really should be another 40-point blowout. I honestly believe that. This should not be a game. Then you got the Monday night game, Broncos Bills. I got to be a man of my word. I got to be a man of my word. I said I wasn't picking the Bills no more. They're not going to lose that one? At home? All right, Bills. This it. This it, man. This it. This is it. You don't win this game, you're never getting picked again on my platform. Ever. For the rest of the year. Bills over the Broncos in Orchard Park at Highmark Stadium. Those are my picks around the NFL. Let's jump into some NBA action. The Mavericks lost last night, and Kyrie came out and said, our coach called us soft. Jason Kidd called the Dallas Mavericks soft on the inside, giving up 71 paint points. Now, granted, their 7-foot Derek Lively was out due to an illness, but this has been a trend that's been happening for the Mavericks earlier in the season. And Kyrie said, listen, when your head coach calls you soft, you got to take that as a man. Don't get salty about it. You got to take that as a man, and you got to do something about it. I kind of like, I like Kyrie in this secondary role. I'm not going to lie to you. And maybe it's early. I know Kyrie's kind of almost conceded that this is Luka team, but it's not nothing wrong with being Robin and Luka being Batman. Hell, who got Batman out of most of the junk that Batman got himself into? Robin. So there's going to be times where Kyrie playing Robin will get to be the hero because Batman, Luka, has gotten himself into something that he didn't get himself out of. We've all seen the cartoons. We've all seen Batman. He messed around with the Joker. The Joker got him bound up to some sort of device and he's dropping into some lava. And what happens? Here comes Robin, comes to save the day. They give Batman the credit, but Robin sometimes saves the day. So that's okay for Luka to be Batman and Kyrie to be Robin. But Jason Kidd called him out. I like it. The Utah Jazz, still salty. Still salty. After all these years, the Utah Jazz had these epic battles back in the 90s with the Chicago Bulls, the Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls. You remember those games? The most infamous play. Remember he called himself like the Jordan stopper, Byron Russell? What a weird thing to say. But you all remember the infamous play? Got crossed up. If you're a Utah fan, got pushed off. You got pushed off. You say if you're a Utah fan. Everybody else says you got crossed up, and then Jordan hit the iconic and faded off. Went on to another life. The Utah Jazz still salty. Some people found out over this weekend that the Utah Jazz Wi-Fi in the building, take a guess what the Wi-Fi password is. The Wi-Fi password that the Utah Jazz use in their building is Jordan pushed off. Come on, y'all. Let it go. Jordan hits out with a nice move. He gives you a little butt tap like, hey, I'm out of here. I'm going to knock this shot down, and I'm going to get on about my business. I'm going to get this chip, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go do my thing. But the Utah Jazz still salty about the Jordan play. I mean, if I was from Utah Jazz fan, I'd probably be salty too. But let it go. All right, Victor Wembanyama, the Mecca of NBA basketball. And why do we still call this the Mecca? This is the question for me. I have to ask this question. Why do we still call Madison Square Garden the Mecca? The Knicks ain't dish. The Knicks have not done anything since
79, 69, 70.
Why is it the Mecca of basketball? Like you in order to keep this name, you got to do something Mecca-ish. Like, I know basketball was such a big place
73.
Since 73. I wasn't even born in 73. I was so far from. I was 11 years from being born. And we're still calling New York City the Madison Square Garden the Mecca of basketball, and they have not done anything. Just call it the Madison Square Garden. I'm not calling it the Mecca anymore. I'm over it. Pack the Mecca up. Pack the Mecca up. You can't hold on to these names forever. I guess, their rebuttal would be, well, why do the Cowboys call themselves America's team? I get it. I mean, numbers do show that they are the most recognizable franchise in all sports. But the Mecca, I'm out on it. Rookie Victor Wembanyama played his first game in the Mecca, and they asked him, what did he think? Give me the distance between Manhattan to Harlem. What is the distance between Manhattan to Harlem?
Harlem's in Manhattan, right?
Oh, yeah. So, down the street.
MSG to...
MSG. When they asked Victor Wembanyama what or how did it feel to play in the Mecca,
42-minute drive.
he said,
well, that's because traffic. It's probably 15 minutes.
Let's say 15 minutes. Let's say 15, 20 minutes. Victor Wembanyama's response to when they asked him about playing in the Garden, he said it wasn't as big as I thought it was. Whoa. Do you not know Cam and Mace is from Harlem? This is a pause moment, Victor. I know that you're not from the United States, but you're now in the culture. You're in the culture. When you say it's not as big as I thought it would be, that's a pause moment, my boy. You in New York, Cam and Mace somewhere in New York, and they're screaming pause at the top of their lungs. Young fella, you got to just be careful how you say certain things. You can't be talking about, it wasn't as big as I thought it was. And maybe I'm childish, and that's fine. I'm totally fine with that. It's a pause moment. It's a learning moment for you. You're learning you're learning the U.S. culture. You're learning the NBA game. Just know that's a pause moment for you. And Cam and Mace are about 15 minutes away in Harlem, and they're screaming pause at you, Victor. And then around the NBA, the Greek freak, Giannis Antetokounmpo, gets ejected from a basketball game. Funny, he goes and sits in an open seat courtside. I don't like it. I do not like it. Giannis goes in for one of his monstrous slams. He stares the guy down, then he gives him the too small sign, and he gets ejected. Second technical of the game. And the reason I do not like that is because these hardworking men and women save up their coins and they wait for these games so that they can come see as fans or bring their children. And when you throw out the marquee player in a game, you've ruined the experience. You've ruined the experience at some point in time, unless it's absolutely egregious. And now, if it's egregious, you throw them out. But when you're thinking about giving someone their second technical, you ain't giving Jesse Holley the second technical. You're giving Giannis the second technical. The guy who's on the ticket stubs, the guy who's on the side of the building, the guy who has the signature sneakers, the guy who's carried this franchise to a championship, the guy who is the face when the team is on national TV, they're using his face. You can't throw that guy out. It's bad for business, referees. You have to have some sort of understanding and some sort of composure that you just can't do that. You have to be better in that. Sometimes you have to take a breath and go, hey, big fella, don't do that. I could throw you out, but you can't throw Giannis out. You can't throw Giannis out. You can't throw Steph out. You can't. Now, egregious, I get it. Egregious, they got to go. But for a little stare down, come on, guys. Don't be bad for business. Don't be bad for fandom. Throwing Giannis out is bad for business, is bad all the way around when it's not egregious. You got to have a little bit more composure with those technicals because there are a lot of people who pay a boatload of money to come to these games, and you need the star players to be in those games. My final thought of the show. I went a week without talking about Prime in Colorado. Not this week. I'm back. Do you believe now? Shout out to the Colorado women basketball team who took on and defeated the number 1 LSU team this past weekend. The Prime effect is happening all over the place. The Colorado women's basketball team took down the mighty LSU basketball team. They were joking around. They said Angel Reese was everywhere this offseason but the gym. I don't know how true that is. I'm just saying what they say on the internet. It was funny. They had Kim Mulkey sick. But shout out to them. But Deion Sanders, and I don't know how I feel about this, but Deion Sanders says when reporters asked him about Shedeur getting ready for the NFL draft, Deion kind of just nipped that in the bud. Said Shedeur ain't going nowhere. Shedeur he's having a good time right here. And he spoke in we terms. We having a good time right here. We building something here. He said the same thing about his son, Shiloh. Travis Hunter, who is a sophomore, is not eligible to enter the draft just yet. He has to wait another year. But Deion said, nah, Shedeur is coming back. And when you start looking at things, you go to yourself, you go, wait a minute now, okay. Shedeur has worked himself up in the conversation of if he came out this year, he would be in that group of quarterbacks that would be Caleb Williams, Drake May, Penix Jr., Shedeur would probably be in the first 4 or 5 quarterbacks taken in the draft. But Deion makes a great point. When you look at Shedeur and his NIL evaluation, he has deals with Beats. He has deals with car dealerships. He has deals with the Tom Brady TB12 clothing line. He getting bread. Evaluation says that right now that Shedeur would make that's a lot. $4.6 million. Not bad scratch for a college quarterback. And if you look at that, it's just in a year-per-year basis, Bryce Young and CJ Stroud were the first 2 picks in the NFL draft a year ago. Not counting their signing bonus, Bryce Young will make $750,000 this year and make $915,000 next year. Bryce Young won't get to a base salary over $1 million to 2025. Well, he'll make $1.03 million. CJ Stroud for this year will make $750,000, and then next year he'll jump in 2025 to making $2.3 million. So when you look at that and you go, well, if Shedeur is making 4.6 this year and his name is in the conversation of being one of the top quarterbacks taken in the draft, you would at least think he's going to make around the same amount next year because Deion has already told you, I'm going to go get me some offensive linemen. That's the fix. And even with the worst offensive lineman that they've had, Shedeur has been able to still put up some pretty good numbers that keeps him in that conversation of the elite quarterbacks in college football. And you can almost bet your bottom dollar that Drake May is coming out. Caleb Williams is coming out. Penix is coming out. The kid Hartman from Notre Dame will be coming out. So if Shedeur comes back next year, he's probably going to be in the conversation of the number one quarterback in college football. And now his status even grows even more. And if Deion goes out there and puts together another big-time recruiting class, a big-time portal class, and now the movement from Colorado, from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten. Big Ten, right? Big Ten or Big 12? What are they moving to? Colorado.
Big 12.
Big 12. That's going to bring another set of audience eyes to Colorado. So while I don't, I don't like Deion speaking for Shedeur. I think Shedeur is good enough and old enough to speak for himself. But Deion pretty much all said, he ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. And honestly, if he's making $4.6 million for a football team right now that probably won't make a bowl game, not bad scratch right there, if you ask me. Not bad scratch at all. All right, man, that's all I got for you. This is episode 33 of, I'm about to call it another show. I'm doing too many shows. This is episode 33 of Unfiltered with Jesse Holley. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification button, share it with all of your friends, man. Thank you guys for last week. We had a clip, the Josh McDaniels clip, do over 50,000 views. Boy, what an accomplishment. I'm so proud of the team. I'm so proud of me. I'm so proud of you, because it doesn't happen unless you watch it. And so that opens up us into a space, the algorithms and all that kind of stuff. We outside. We nice. I was this close to opening up today. This is why I'm hot. I'll say that for next week. But thank you guys, man. I appreciate you. Like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. Just put it on repeat. Just do all the great things, man, to help me win. Because when I win, you win. We winning together. I'm taking this thing to the next level. We 2.5, 3 months in, man, and we doing great. And we're still building, we're still growing. It takes all of us. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart. That's all I got for you guys today. Remember, never let anyone tell you that their lives are better than yours, because it is your life. And that life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Eliminate the contingencies. I'm out.